Hi, good morning to all of you. Let's get started. Bhagavad Gita, page number 667, verse 8. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. A pure devotee does not like to see Krishna in any form except his form with two hands. A devotee must see his universal form by his grace, not with the mind but with, with spiritual eyes to see the universal form of Krishna. Arjun is told not to change his mind but his vision. The universal form of Krishna is not very important. That will be clear in subsequent verse. Yet because Arjun wanted to see it, the Lord gives him the particular vision required to see the universal form. Devotees who are correctly situated in a transcendental relationship with Krishna are attracted by loving features, not by a godless display of opulences. The playmates of Krishna, the friends of Krishna, and the parents of Krishna never want Krishna to show his opulences. They are so immersed in pure love that they do not even know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In their loving exchange, they forgot that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the boys who play with Krishna are all highly pure souls, and after many births they are able to play with Krishna. Such boys do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They take him as a personal friend. Therefore, Sukhdev Goswami recites this verse. Here is a supreme person who is considered the impersonal Brahman by great sages, the supreme personality of Godhead by devotees, and a product of material nature by ordinary men. Now, these days, who have performed many pure activities in their past lives are playing with that Supreme Personality of Godhead. The fact is that the devotee is not concerned with seeing the universal form, but Arjun wanted to see it to substantial Krishna's statements so that in the future people could understand that Krishna not only theoretically or philosophically presented himself as the supreme but actually presented himself as such to Arjun. Arjun must confirm this because Arjun is the beginning of the Parampara system. Those who are actually interested in understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who follow in the footsteps of Arjun should understand that Krishna not only theoretically presented himself as a supreme but actually revealed himself as the supreme, the Lord gave Arjun the necessary power to see his universal form, because he knew that Arjun did not particularly want to see it, as we have already explained. Now let's get started. Verse 9. Sanjay said, O king, having spoken thus, the supreme lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjun. Now, verse 10 to 11. Arjun saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial 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 ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. In these two verses, the repeated use of the word many indicates that there was no limit to the number of hands, mouths, legs, and other manifestations Arjun was seeing. These manifestations were distributed throughout the universe, but by the grace of the Lord, Arjun could see them while sitting in one place. That was due to the inconceivable potency of Krishna. Verse 12. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. What Arjun saw was indescribable, yet Sanjay is trying to give a mental picture of that great revelations of Dhritarashtra. Neither Sanjay nor Dhritarashtra was present, but Sanjay, by the grace of Vyas, could see whatever happened. Thus, he now compares the situations, as far as it can be understood, to an imaginable phenomenon. Say, verse 13. At the time, Arjun could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many thousands. The word there is very significant. It indicates that both Arjun and Krishna were sitting on the chariot. When Arjun saw the universal form, others on the battlefield could not see this form, because Krishna gave the vision only to Arjun. Arjun could see in the body of Krishna many thousands of planets. As we learn from Vedic scriptures, there are many universes and many planets. Some of them are made of earth, some are made of gold, some are made of jewels, some are very great, some are not so great, etc. Sitting on his chariot, Arjun could see all these, but no one could understand what was going on between Arjun and Krishna. Verse is 14th. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing to his hair standing on end, Arjun bowed his head to offer obeisance and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Once the divine vision is revealed, the relationship between Krishna and Arjun changes immediately. Before, Krishna and Arjun had a relationship based on friendship, but here after the revelations, Arjun is offering obeisances with great respect and with folded hands. He is praying to Krishna. He is praising the universal form. Thus, Arjun's relationship becomes one of wonder rather than friendship. Great devotees see Krishna as the reservoir of all relationship in the scriptures. There are 12 basic kinds of relationship mentioned, and all of them are present in Krishna. It is said that he is the ocean of all the relationships exchanged between two living entities, between the gods or between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Here Arjun was inspired by the relationship of wonder, and in that wonder, although he was by nature very sober, calm and quiet, he became ecstatic. His hair stood up and he began to offer his obeisance unto the Supreme Lord with folded hands. Sober, calm and quiet, he became ecstatic. His hair stood up and he began to offer his obeisance unto the Supreme Lord with folded hands. He was not, of course, afraid. He was affected by the wonders of the Supreme Lord. The immediate context is wonder. His natural loving relationship was overwhelmed by wonder, and thus he reacted in this way. Verse 15th. Arjun said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various others living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. Arjun sees everything in the universe. Therefore, he sees Brahma, who is the first creature in the universe, and the celestial serpent upon which the Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bat is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. Arjun can see from the Garbhodakshi Vishnu up to the topmost part of the universe on the lotus flower planet where Brahma, the first creature of the universe, resides. That means that from the beginning to the end, everything could be seen by Arjun, who was sitting in one place on his chariot. This was possible by the grace of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Verse 16th. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, pillars, mouths, and eyes, expanded eye everywhere, without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. Kishin is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is unlimited, thus, through him everything could be seen. Verses 17th. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. Verse is 18th. You are the supreme. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion and personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. Verse is 19th. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. There is no limit to the extent of the six appearances of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here and in many other places there is repetitions, but according to the scriptures, repetition of the glories of Krishna is not a literary weakness. It is sad that at the time of bewilderment or wonder or of great ecstasy, statements are repeated over and over. That is not a flaw. Verses 20. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing these wonders and terrible from all the planetary systems are uttered. The three words are significant words in this verse because it appears that not only did Arjun see this universal form of the Lord, but others in other planetary systems saw it also. Arjun's seeing of the universal form was not a dream. All whom the Lord endowed with divine vision saw that universal form on the battlefield. Verse 21st. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Host of great sages and perfected beings crying all peace are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. The demigods in all the planetary systems fear the terrific manifestations of the universal form and its clearing fulgence and so prayed for protection. Verse is 22nd. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiv and Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishvadev, and two Asvis are Marathus, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. Verse is 23rd. Almighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and villi, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. Verse is 24th. O all pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain by steadiness or equilibrium of mind. Verse is 25th. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blessing, death-like faces and awful teeth in all directions. I am bewildered. Verse is 26 to 27th. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karan, and our chief soldiers also are rushing into your fearful mouths, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. In a previous verse, the Lord promised to show Arjun things he would be very interested in seeing. Now Arjun sees that the leaders of the opposite party, Bhishma, Drona, Karan, and all the sons of Dhritarashtra, and their soldiers and Arjun's own soldiers are all being annihilated. This is an indication that after the death This is an indication that after the death of nearly all the persons assembled at Kurukshetra, Arjun will emerge victorious. It is also mentioned here that Bhishma, who is supposed to be unconquerable, will also be smashed. So also Karan. Not only will the great various of the other party like Bhishma be smashed, but some of the great warriors of Arjun's side also. Verse is 28. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. Verses 29th. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. Verse is 30th. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. Verse is 31st. O Lord of Lords, so fires of foam, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisance unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. Verse is 32. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Time, I am. Time, I am the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Although Arjun knew that Krishna was his friend and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was puzzled by the various forms exhibited by Krishna. Therefore, he asked further about the actual mission of this devastating force. It is written in the Veds that the Supreme Truth destroys everything, even the Brahmans, as stated in the Katha Upanishad. Eventually, all the Brahmans, Kshatriyas, and even everyone else are devoured like a meal by the Supreme. This form of the Supreme Lord is the all-devouring giant, and here Krishna presents himself in that form of all-devouring giant. Except for a few Pandavas, everyone who was present on that battlefield would be devoured by him. Arjun was not in favor of the fight, and he thought it was better not to fight, that then there would be no frustration. In reply, the Lord is saying that even if he did not fight, every one of them would be destroyed, for that was his plan. If Arjun stopped fighting, they would die in another way. Death could not be checked, even if he did not fight. In fact, they were already dead. Time is destruction, and all manifestations are to be vanquished by the desire of the Supreme Lord. That is the law of nature. Verse is 33rd. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are they are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, oh Savasiki, can be but an instrument in the fight. Savya refers to one who can shoot arrows very expertly in the field. Thus, Arjun is addressed as an expert warrior capable of delivering arrows to kill his enemies, just become an instrument. Nimit Mantram. This word is also very significant. The whole world is moving according to the plan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Foolish persons who do not have sufficient knowledge think that nature is moving without a plan and all manifestations are but accidental formations. There are many so-called scientists who suggest that perhaps it was like this or maybe like that, but there is no questions of perhaps and maybe. There is a specific plan being carried out in this material world. What is this plan? This cosmic manifestations is a chance for conditioned souls to go back to Godhead, back to home, as long as they have the domineering mentality which makes them try to lord it over material nature. They are conditioned, but anyone who can understand the plan of the Supreme, the Lord, and cultivate Christian consciousness is most intelligent. The creation and destruction of the cosmic manifestation are under the superior guidance of God. Thus, the Battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of God. Arjun was refusing to fight, but he was told that he should fight in accordance with the desire of the Supreme Lord. Then he would be happy if one is in full Christian consciousness and his life is devoted to the Lord's transcendental service. He is perfect. Verse is 34th. Drone, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karan, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Every plan is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but He is so kind and merciful to His devotees that He wants to give the credit to His devotees who carry out His plan according to His desire. Life should therefore move in such a way that everyone acts in Christian consciousness and understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the medium of a spiritual master. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by His mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as His plans. The plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are understood by His mercy, and the plans of the devotees are as good as His plans. One should follow such plans and be victorious in the struggle for existence. Verse is 35. 35th. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that Trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with, with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a fluttering voice as follows. As we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we have already explained, because of the situation created by the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna became bewildered in wonder. Thus, he began to offer his respectful obeisances to Krishna. Again and again, and with fluttering voice, he began to pray, not as a friend, but as a devotee in wonder. Verse is 36. Arjuna said, O Master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid, and they flee here and there. All this is right in turn. Arjuna, after hearing from Krishna about the outcome of the battle of Kurukshetra, became enlightened, and as a great devotee and friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he said that everything done by Krishna is quite fit. Arjuna confirmed that Krishna is the maintainer and the object of worship for the devotees and the destroyer of the undesirable. His actions are equally good for all. Arjuna understood herein that when the battle of Kurukshetra was being concluded in outer space, there were present many demigods, Siddhas, and the intelligentsia of the higher planets, and therefore observing the fight because Krishna was present there. When Arjuna was the universal form the form of the Lord, the demigods took pleasure in it, but others who were demons and atheists could not stand it when the Lord was praised. Out of their natural fear of the devastating form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they fled Krishna's treatment of the devotees, and the atheist is praised by Arjuna. In all cases, a devotee glorifies the Lord because he knows whatever he does is good for all. Verse is 37. O great one, greater even the Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you, O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe? You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendent to this material manifestation. By this offering of obeisances, Arjuna indicates that Krishna is worshipped by everyone. He is all pervading, and he is the soul of Unlimited Ananta indicates that there is nothing which is not covered by the influence and energy of the Supreme Lord. And this means that He is the controller of all demigods and is above them all. He is the shelter of the whole universe. Arjun also thought that it was fitting that all the perfect living entities and powerful demigods offer their respectful obeisances unto him, because no one is greater than him. Arjun especially mentions that Krishna is greater than Brahma because Brahma is created by him. Brahma is born out of the lotus stem grown from the navel abdomen of Garbhodakshi Vishnu, who is Krishna's planetary expansion. Therefore, Brahma and Lord Shiva, who is born of Brahma and all other demigods, must offer their respectful obeisances. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the Lord is respected by Lord Shiva and Brahma and similar other demigods. The word Akshara is very significant because this material creation is subject to destruction, but the Lord is above this material creation. He is the cause of all causes, and being so, He is superior to all the conditioned souls within this material nature as well as the material cosmic manifestations itself. He is therefore the all great supreme. Verse is 38. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material forms, all limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. Everything is resting on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, He is the ultimate rest. Nidhanam means that everything, even the Brahman, effulgence, rests on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna, He is the knower of everything that is happening in the world, and if knowledge has any end, He is the end of all knowledge. Therefore, He is the known and the knowable. He is the object of knowledge because He is all pervading, because He is the cause in the spiritual world. He is transcendental. He is also the chief personality in the transcendental world. Verse is 39th. You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire. You are water. And you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature. And you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times and again and yet again. The Lord is addressed here as air because the air is the most important representation of all the demigods, being all pervasive. Arjun also addresses Krishna as the great grandfather because he is the father of Brahma, the first living creature in the universe. Verse is 40th. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you You are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything. Out of loving ecstasy for Krishna, his friend Arjun is offering his respects from all sides. He is expecting that he is the master of all potencies and all pros, and far superior to all the great warriors assembled on the battlefield. It is said in the Vishnu Purana, whoever comes before you, be he a demigod, is created by you, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse is 41st to 42nd. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadav, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. Oh, infallible and one, please excuse me for all those offenses. Although Krishna is manifested before Arjun in his universal form, Arjun remembers his friendly relationship with Krishna and is therefore asking pardon and requesting Krishna to excuse him for the many informal gestures which arise out of friendship. He is admitting that formally he did not know that Krishna could assume such a universal form, although Krishna explained it as his intimate friend. Arjun did not know how many times he may have dishonored Krishna by addressing him, O my friend, O Krishna, O Yadav, etc., without acknowledging his opulence. But Krishna is so kind and merciful that in spite of such opulence, he played with Arjun as a friend. Such is the transcendental loving reciprocation between the devotee and the Lord. The relationship between the living entity and Krishna is fixed eternally. It cannot be forgotten, as we can see from the behavior of Arjun. Although Arjun has seen the opulence in the universal form, he cannot forget his friendly relationship with Krishna. Verse is 43rd. You are the father of this complete cosmic